Welcome to ChessBase magazine 165. This issue has 5 top tournaments. The first is Wijk aan Zee, the traditional super tournament in the Netherlands, which was won by world champion Magnus Carlsen. Daniel King has made videos of the game of the day for all rounds, and has also done this for the Baden-Baden tournament, and Rustam Kasimjanov also has recorded videos on games from Wijk. Next is Gibraltar, which was won by Nakamura, who has also annotated a game for the ChessBase magazine, furthermore Vitugov and Yifan Hu, among others. Then Baden-Baden in southern Germany, which was won by world champion Magnus Carlsen after an Armageddon game against German Grandmaster Arkady Neidic. Then Zurich in Switzerland, where Nakamura won after an Armageddon game against Anand, so the organizers really want to have one winner of their tournament. And last not least, the third FIDE Grand Prix tournament in Tbilisi, which was won by Yevgeny Tomaszewski with 8 out of 11. And this was remarkable as he was only seeded 10th from 12 at the start. And now Tomaszewski is also leading the whole FIDE Grand Prix. Okay, let's see a few games. So Aronian from Wijk was also annotated in detail by Wesley So. As usual, I had to delete almost all annotations of the games due to the space limitations of this video format. Here Aronian with black made a mistake. He should play knight d7, while he opted for knight g8. And how did Wesley So exploit this? A small tactical operation, bishop h5. And now the bishop c8 is hanging with check, which is Aronian's undoing. He's now losing a piece, and with insufficient compensation. Yeah, and White went on to win. Yeah, strong performance by Wesley So. Next, Yifan Hu, who has annotated her game against strong young Hungarian Richard Rapport. A critical position arose here. It is black to move. I have 2 questions for you. The first is, why didn't Rapport take with the queen? At first it looks more logical to increase the pressure and the pin, but it runs into the nice tactic, knight f4, and the point is queen h1. Such diagonal queen move backwards are most often overlooked by humans from all single types of moves, but Yifan Hu had spotted it, and so Rapport correctly avoided this, as he would now lose material. So taking with the rook is correct, but after queen f7 he made a mistake. Bishop f6 is right, d5, and then sacrificing the queen. And Hu thinks that this should be tenable for black, and I agree, as there's not so much material left. Black should have opted for this variation, because after knight d5, black does not have sufficient compensation for the piece due to queen f8, and Yifan Hu won after the queen exchange. There are 11 opening surveys. 2 new authors, the Indian International Master Sagar Shah and the German-Greek International Master Georgios Solaidis. He looks at the double fianchetto for black against d4. This is Aronian Carlsen from the Single Field Cup last year. yeah, black may have some slight problem with the move order, I will mention in the next game, but here Magnus Carlsen can go into the double fianchetto. The first bishop is fianchettoed. The next bishop is fianchettoed. One important thing, one important moment arises now, what to do. e4 must be stopped, white would then have too much space, so Carlsen played knight e4 and managed to equalize relatively easily against Levon Aronian, so this certainly is one idea of black. Another is shown here in Donchenko van Kampen, German Bundesliga. And here I could mention the problem. After g3, black would have to close the diagonal, but black doesn't want it, of course. Black wants to play bishop b7 directly, so this is a slight move order problem. You must be prepared with black for that. But after knight f3, of course, there's no such problem with the move order. Black can just fianchetto both bishops. And yeah, so latest thinks that d5 is critical. And this may, of course, well be the case. And here he also suggests c6 in the fight for equality, or e6. Black has developed all his men, but of course white's space advantage in the center may count for something. But nevertheless, if this is interesting for you with black to have a weapon against d4, then study Soleide's article in detail. And as white, you may need a weapon against it, of course. Robert Riss deals with the... Okay, the move order at the beginning is completely different, of course, but deals with the accelerated dragon. We will reach it soon. Normally it will be reached via the Sicilian move order. Now we have transposed accelerated dragon of Sicilian. Now no Marocci, but the normal variation. This is, of course, one main line against it. And here black can play d6 or a5. The normal main lines, or maybe even other moves. But Riss looks at the very enterprising d5. Somehow it cannot be correct, but if your opponent doesn't know it, then it is an excellent surprise weapon, because many moves already lead to black advantage, like Hector's bishop takes. After knight g4, Soleides already had an advantage with black and managed to draw very easily. But black already is slightly better. This works very well. While in the game, Kualots Shirov from the Finnish Team Championship 2014, Kaido Kualots played the principal critically e takes d5, and then I don't believe that black can equalize here against a well-prepared opponent. Black, of course, gets the bishop pair and some development advantage, but it is not sufficient. After bishop h5, Riss thinks that d6 is critical, and yeah, I agree. And here I don't think that black can equalize completely, but okay, who knows? You can try it, of course. And if your opponent doesn't know the theory, then it's quite dangerous, as d5 is very sharp and aggressive. And after bishop c8, I think Riss gives, and I agree, rook d1 and knight d2, and I don't think that this is completely equal. White is slightly better due to the weak dark squares in black's camp, and yeah, the bishop, the slightly problem bishop c8, double-edged bishop, Espen Lund calls such pieces. Okay, but nevertheless, it may be interesting as a sharp, aggressive surprise weapon with black, and of course usually it arises via the normal Sicilian move order of the accelerated dragon. This move order, like here in Kualots Shirov. And finally I want to mention the article by Sagar Shah against, this is with black against this second g3 in the English opening. And now h6. Okay, it looks a bit odd at first sight, I agree. It really looks very slow, but it has several points. Shah also mentions them. I don't want to go into too much detail here. I just want to mention that After knight f3, 1 point is directly revealed, knight g5 is not possible. And white must now know what he is doing, because otherwise it can easily go wrong, like in Giffard Bricard, Montpellier 2005. Knight c3 here is a critical move, and then I have to sit on the fence. Yeah, then white of course has some pressure against the black center, and this certainly is critical. C takes d5 on the other hand gives black too much initiative, and now black is fine and won a good game in Giffard Bricard. Next, the columns. First I want to mention that Simon Williams has now taken the move-by-move column from Daniel King already in the last ChessBase magazine. Really solve all his interactive video format questions first yourself. He looks at Karana Vashila Graph. By the way, this is also annotated in traditional format by Vashila Graph himself. And it was a Sicilian English attack, and the English Simon Williams, of course, is a specialist, well qualified for the English attack, so look at it in detail. In the strategy column, German Bundestrainer Dorian Rogozenko looks at converting a positional advantage, a very important theme, of course. When you have reached these advantages, you should know how to develop it and how to win with it, so always important. And I like how Rogozenko manages to combine the old famous classics with modern examples. Bogolyubov Alichin from the World Championship 1934 is of course a classic. How did Alichin proceed here with black to move? A4, very important. This fixes the weakness. A3 gives an outpost square on B3 for a possible invasion on the queen side. This is the principle of two weaknesses, because if white deals with too many forces on the queen side, then his king will be extremely vulnerable due to the broken structure on the king side, and Alechin went on to win a model game. In the tactics column, Oliver Ray looks at mating attacks with and without queens. Here in Kramling Plotkin from Gibraltar, white should try to reduce black's attacking potential with rook a2, because after queen c2 it is black to move and win. And really solve this yourself first. The right move is rook a3 check, and now refute king g2 and king h4 yourself first, and only then look at the solution in Oliver Ray's tactic column and really solve the tactical exercises there yourself first. Only then you will profit from this tactic trainings program. In the endgame column, I look at King's Indian endgames in the second part, so typical motives, typical constellations which arise from the King's Indian opening. Last not least, Rainer Knag has selected 5 opening traps, and I have selected one of them, Berzin Sveshnikov from the Keres Memorial Rapid 2015. Bishop b5 and knight f3, and here comes a typical mistake played in many games. This plays into black's hands because he now has a strong trump. Which one? Solve it yourself first and then look at the solution in Rainer Knag's column on the DVD. And now I wish you a lot of fun with ChessBase Magazine 165.